Hey, what's going on, man? What's your name?
Sam Gentile.
Nice to see you again, Sam.
Same here.
So I understand this senior living facility is going through a major change right now. It's no longer going to be a senior living facility, but instead it's going to be an apartment complex open to all ages. So I guess the question is, how do you deal with major life changes such as this? And what advice can you give to someone else going through a major life change?
Well, for me, I've had many, of course, during my time. So I sort of put myself in a state of mind where not to really get too involved in where I am comfortable because I know there's subject to be a change. So it's just rolling with the punches, you know. So you do what you got to do and keep on keeping on. That's the way I see it. I've always been like that, so I'm not going to change.
Thank you. Okay, Sam, in your opinion, what would you say is your greatest life accomplishment?
Well, let's see. Growing up, I was an only child, so therefore I didn't have anybody to talk to, give me advice about certain things and so forth and so on. So I basically had to figure out everything on my own. And I realized that I could do just about anything I wanted to do if I put my mind to it and so forth and concentrated on it and wanted to do it. No matter how long it would take, I could do it. So my accomplishment, more or less, was I wanted to have a family because I never had one of my own, no brothers and sisters and so forth. I really was interested in having a family. So I concentrated on that, and I knew exactly what I would do, how I would raise my kids and so forth and so on. And then I accomplished all that. Like when I was raised up, well, you know, my parents were old fashioned, so they beat you with the belt and so forth. And never explain anything to you, tell you, all they can say, you did something wrong. And you don't know whether you did anything wrong or not because you're a kid, man. Okay, so I vowed that I would have kids. I would never whip them. I would never slap them. I would never scold them. I would treat them like little young adults. And that's what I did. All my kids, they turned out great. Never had no problem with them at all because we were open with each other, and that's just how it was.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam. And the last question is, in your opinion, looking back, what would you do different?
In my,
Or would you do anything different?
would I do anything different? Well, you know, I have a long way to look back. So I'm sure there's certain things I would do different and so forth, like getting involved with certain people and so forth. I would be more skeptical and more discreet because, well, of course now I know different, but then I didn't. So that's about what I would do different, more or less be more selective about my associating with different people and so forth and so on. And that's about the only thing I would think about is changing. Other than that, everything that I thought about I wanted to do, I accomplished it. So I'm contented with it.
Cool. Well, thank you, Sam, and thank you for being a part of this interview, man. Take care.
You too.
What's your name?
Ann Friedman.
Nice to meet you, Ann.
Nice
So
to meet you too.
thank you so much. So I understand that this facility is going from a senior living facility to an apartment complex welcome to all ages.
Right.
So my question is, how are you coping with that major life change, and what advice could you give to someone else dealing with a major life change as well?
Well, I'm coping with it by essentially leaving and going to a place which has the facilities we have now, so that I'll be in a senior facility. Because I want to have activities and I don't want to be eating alone in my apartment. And that's, you know, so I'm not changing this place. I'm not sure I understand exactly why it has to change character, but that's what the owner decided to do. So, and I don't want to. the residents are trying to organize themselves so they can eat together and things like that. But I think it's going to be very hard. A lot of people are leaving.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Do you have any advice for anyone in the world going through a major life change, or?
Not really. I mean, we all cope the best we can.
Yeah.
It's important if you can have some friends who can help you along the way,
Right.
And family, and that's been important for me.
The next question is, in your opinion, what would you consider your greatest life accomplishment?
Well, that's hard. In one sense, it's my daughter and my granddaughter, because they're very exceptional young ladies. Well, one's not that young, the daughter. But I was a college professor, and I have written
cool.
several books.
Wow.
Including one that was published by Harvard University Press.
Oh, what?
And then when I retired, my husband and I moved to Colorado, to a small town near Aspen.
Yep.
You probably heard of Aspen, but you haven't heard of Basalt, which is the small town. And I was able to get very active in town politics. I served on the town council. I was on the committee to rewrite the Constitution for the town, various things. And I really, really enjoyed doing that.
Okay, and so I guess the last question would be, looking back, would you do anything different?
Boy, that's a hard question. I mean, you can always imagine that things might have been better. But essentially, I mean, I'm happy with the job I had. I liked being a college teacher, and I liked living in the Chicago area, although I didn't like the weather. That was where we were primarily during our working life. So, no, I mean, the bad things were not my husband's heart attack. That wasn't anything that I could have any control over. So, I'm sure, I could have done some things better, but I don't really know how I would change it. I was really happy with college teaching. I liked the students, and I liked studying the material. I liked writing, so, that was... And I was in Chicago, which is an interesting place to be.
Never been.
Oh, it's a nice city. It really is. And it's a lot easier to get around than this city, I have to say. Really, because it runs along Lake Michigan, and one side, and it has, if you go wrong, you see the lake, and you have to turn around.
Gotcha.
And it has a center point, and then all of the streets north are labeled one way, and south the other, and east and west. So you really can always sort of tell where you are easily.
Okay.
And I have to say, I think the drivers around here are kind of crazy.
I agree. I agree.
Worse than in Illinois, much worse.
Yeah, I'm sure you've been to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah, drivers out there,
Yeah, and of course it doesn't help to have these hills either.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, thank you, Ann, for being a part of my interview, and thank you for your responses, and good luck with all the different changes and everything going on.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well,
People Talks family, if you guys enjoyed that video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I really hope that this video brought value to at least one person out there. Hope that you guys learned something from it, or you were encouraged by it, or inspired by it, something. Until next time, guys, thank you.